You are welcome. This is the Growth Catalyst. We are yet going to tackle part 2 of sex and dating. And today we are specifically going to talk about sex and dating among the teenagers. And again today I'm joined with Mr. Waliaula Freud and then Muyinda Nicholas, like we were last time, because this is part 2 of sex and dating. You are welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
So I want to ask you guys, what do you think about the president's speech, what he said?
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Kels. President's speech was definitely about the COVID-19.
That's true.
The pandemic, which is still around and it's with us.
These days it's always about COVID-19 updates.
It's the talk. And what I picked from the president's speech is his concern about the health.
Okay.
And especially of the children, where our teenagers...
The bazukuru.
Yes, where the teenagers are. And he was saying, we rather have a push on the education program,
okay,
but have healthy children.
Okay.
And to me, I feel that was a paramount point. So my point to the parents is let's take care of the children, but also let's engage them, especially the teens.
When they are home, right?
Yes, when they are home. They have a lot of energy, so if we don't utilize it well, you'll end up having issues to handle or scores to settle at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's right. And then, Nicholas, the president said that everyone should wear masks. Do you have your mask, or what do you think about that?
About the masks, it's basically about where you are exactly, because when you're at home, you won't really necessarily wear your mask, but this will only apply when you're out in the community where you feel like it's not safe for you as a person to be there without a mask. So this calls for also a person's know-abouts of the coronavirus, and also being vigilant about the community and where you're staying to use the mask. Because if you're as well knowledgeable about the masks, it's not very, very advisable for you to wear the mask for the whole day. It's supposed to be for a few hours in the day, then you take it off. Otherwise, there will be implications on your respiratory organs.
So you only put it on when you are going out, let's say to the marketplace or to a shop. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part 2 of sex and dating, and today it's about the teenagers, which is really, really very important and very interesting, because you know, most times for many people it's really very intimidating. Like this kind of age group, it's the most difficult time of parenthood for any parent, because then you don't know when to set the rules and when to let them free, because for many parents, most times they think they can slow the time for their teenagers. But trust me, you'll wake up one morning and your child is not childlike anymore. Talk over the hormones will be raging, and then you know, the sexual hormones are coming up, and before you know it, your teen or your teenager will be entering the dating world or the dating age. And so now here we come back to Mr. Waliaula. Do you think it's normal for a teenager to want to date?
Yeah. You know, our bodies go through different development stages.
Okay.
And those feelings towards the opposite sex by a girl or a boy is natural.
Okay.
And at one point, it will happen to that child.
Yeah, because I think everyone has had that feeling.
Yes.
Like when we were back in school, at least everyone has gotten that feeling, you know?
So, and this is what I should say. At that point is when the parents should swing in action.
Okay.
And get to be close to the children. And many times we have this face of being not friendly to the children, like you're being a parent, you're a parent, and then you are not giving an ear to your child to listen to what they are doing. If you don't have that communication with the children, your teens, they will find solace somewhere else, and they will get things which may not work for them, because you wish them well.
Okay.
So when you are a friend to the children, they will open to you, and then they'll tell you how they are feeling.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, those the butterflies in the stomach about someone. Then you'll sit down with them and walk the journey with them, telling them it is okay to feel that, but then who is that person? And then, for me, I believe working with them and even knowing who they are, friends whom they want to date.
Okay.
Yeah, you can even drive them there or walk them there so that you know, so it is this one. Yeah. And once they know that there's a third party who knows what is happening, then they'll be careful with what they are doing.
So then they are guiding them on what to do and what not to do. And so the parents out there, so this is my question now. When Mr. Oriaola talked about you engaging and talking to your kids, so then my question is, do you want your child to hear about sex from someone else, or you would want to talk to them? And then Mr. Oriaola, this brings me to the point of having a healthy relationship. Could you define what a healthy relationship would look like in this case? Yeah,
I would just say there are quite a number of key factors to consider into a definition of a good relationship or a healthy relationship. Yeah, and some of these are, you have to be open. There has to be openness. There has to be honesty. There has to be safety, making sure that in that relationship you are honest with the other person or the other party. You are open to them, and you make sure that you work towards making them safe. But also, the other tips are you must talk about issues. There are those things that happen in a relationship. So the parent has to make sure they tell the kids prior. Yeah, you must be open and talk about issues. Then you have to give some good respect to these children, because when they are growing up, when they are very young, you order them every time. But when they reach teenage, they also want to reason with you. So,
and you see, when you talk about respect, I think at some point when a parent, when you a parent, you respect your child, like even when you are talking, like there is a way they will listen to you. Like however sensitive the topic is, when you respect your child, because now they are growing up, like the teenagers, that age is really very sensitive. And so if you don't respect them, trust me, they will go astray.
Yes, you have to make them comfortable. So that they are free with you. And they talk with you freely. And if they have gone out and they come back, maybe with their friends, try to create an ample time privately with your girl, with your daughter or your son, and let them tell you how their day went. In the process, you will synchronize what happened. Even if they try to sieve other things, you'll be able to make patterns and know this is what happened.
As a parent.
Yes, you'll know what they did, and you'll be able to guide them accordingly.
Okay, now Nicholas, you are either still a teenager or you have just left that stage. What do you think about that?
Basically, if at all a parent engaged in teenage life, it's not quite easy for the parent, because as you know, this is a tricky age.
That's true, like it's intimidating actually.
Yeah, so, but on the other hand, it's really hopeful, because this person will be hoped in how to handle what they are into. Because at this age, you want to try out everything, you want to experiment almost everything, but with this guidance behind you, you're really able to overcome and go through all this, and in the future it will really be hopeful, and you will really be thankful for this. But I pose the question just right here. Why don't parents here in Uganda engage in these relationships teenagers always have in their families? Your daughter is relating some neighbor's child, and you don't. What you do is maybe yell, which is not really helpful at all.
It's not.
And, basically, why don't parents do this here in Uganda?
If I can respond to that, I think we differ. Our cultures differ. And in other countries, once a teenager reaches the age of, I think 16,
Okay.
yeah, they are free and open
Like they're free to do anything
to relate and do everything. But
without even without the parents'
yes,
guidance.
guidance, yes.
Wow.
Especially in the Western countries. Yeah, but for us here, I think 18, a parent will say, okay, my son is 18.
Maybe they can.
Yeah. But again, culturally, we have not cultivated the culture of communication. Yeah, we have this tendency of ordering.
Yeah.
Yeah, go do this. Come, deliver this. Do this for me. You know, without having a conversational kind of interaction
With your
the
child.
children.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one has to just. This is now an appeal to the parents who have teenagers and the young people, maybe a parent or a guardian. The best way to handle this situation is having an open roundtable talk over these issues.
And look into their eyes.
Yes, and then hear them, listen to them, and then they will be able to tell you, you'll be able to walk the journey with them so that they don't end up crashing. Yeah. So to respond to your question, the problem we have is we have not cultivated the culture of roundtable discussion with the children. It is a command kind of thing. Wow. We have a militaristic way of handling things.
So
if they say funga, you funga.
You say,
If they say,
"Mguu moja juu,"
yes, yeah. But if it is free interaction, this is when, and it is not too late.
Okay.
The parents to teenagers, we can do this so that we help our children.
Okay, so in other words, parents, you need to sit down with your kid, look them straight into your eyes. Because I believe when you look straight into someone's eyes, it's very hard for them to lie to you. And so if you sit them down and talk to them well, I believe they'll have to open up about everything they are going through. And then, Mr. Oliaula, I mentioned this last time when we started. Most people like skipping the topic of sex. And I think it's everyone's responsibility to talk to a teen about sex. So my question is, do you think it's okay for parents to talk realistically about sex to their teens?
Okay, I think that is very paramount. I'll quickly, because, you know, being a Christian, I would not stop making a reference to what the Bible says.
Yeah, that's true.
In the Bible, I think in Proverbs 22, verses 6, it talks about training up a child on the way they should go, and when they grow up, they will not depart from
Yes,
it.
from, yeah.
Yeah?
True.
So, as parents and guardians and caretakers of children, we have to speak to the children about these issues, you know, so that when they are growing up, when they reach puberty, and somebody sees some hair growing in a certain area besides the head, they should not be shocked about what is happening. When the girls reach a point and they go through their menses, and when they start, when they see what is happening, they can easily scream and run through the window, thinking they are about to die. Yeah, but when you speak these issues to the teens, that at one point, this is likely to happen to your body. This is likely to happen in your feelings, how you feel about someone.
So they grow up knowing.
Knowing. So that when it happens, it doesn't cause what they call in psychology a cultural shock to the children. Yeah, so that they have where to run. And when they see that happening, they'll run to you because you talk to them. They have a foundation. So they'll run to mommy, they'll run to daddy. And if you have not laid that foundation, trust me, they will get the response from somewhere else.
Which is,
it might be dangerous. So we have to dress up to the challenge and have our children sit down with them, speak to them over these issues about puberty, about the body changes, about sex. Yeah, because many times children, even my daughter, she's 3, she's about to make 4, but she asks where babies come from. So that is an opportunity to begin laying a foundation of what happens. The earlier, the better.
So, okay. So then, but then I think even when you talk to them, depending on the age, I think the language also has to matter. Like it has to be neutral, because there are sometimes, like you said, it's your daughter, but I believe you have a son. Now I'm imagining your daughter asks such a question, and then your son is also there. Then the language has to be neutral? I don't know.
The way you speak is just like the way we treat children.
Okay.
When an infant comes to your family, is born in your family, you don't give them cassava.
That's true.
And matoke.
No, it will choke them.
Yes, you do the milk. Then when they are growing up, you introduce supplementary foods.
Like smashed Irish potatoes. Okay.
And then later on, you give the hard and the solid food. So same applies to talking about sex. Okay. You synchronize what you communicate. Yeah, you can use metaphors, something that will cover the reality, but you have driven the point home.
Don't you think that is dangerous somehow?
In a way, yes.
Okay.
But the danger with it is if you say, if the child says, where do children come from? And then you say, when I go and to the hospital and I get a baby. Okay. That is dangerous.
Which is also true sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm imagining you go to, they are called foster homes.
Yes.
And then you adopt a child. That is also true.
That's very true. Yeah, but depending on the age, and the question that has been popped up by the child, you find a way of making sure that you make the language mild, so that it doesn't, you don't speak things which will shock them. Yeah, but as I said, you keep growing the language, and when the children reach a certain age, tell them the truth. This part is this one is this one, and this is what it does. Yeah, when a teenager reaches that age, tell them you are young. You're still in school, but if you go and mess up yourself, then use this part to the other girl, then something will happen, and the child might be a result. So the best way is you tell them the truth, but as I said, the way you package and brand your communication. And
depending on the age.
And the age.
Basically, on the same thing, I remember when I was, I think, about 15 to 13 there, my younger sister had a lot of those questions because she used to play with dolls, and she's like, Mommy, where do you get your babies? You get. But because there was this kind of jazz when I was also still younger, and I was groomed to that age in a very safe way. When she was told something to keep her in a safe zone, I didn't laugh off, or I didn't be like, you're joking, you're lying, tell her the truth, you get. Because I know what it really means to talk about this and what the advantages really are. So, but if a parent goes about meandering and dodging the question, it might come to a point when the real answers will come to reality, and you're like, oh my God.
What happened?
Yeah. And yet in the first place, you would have addressed it on a gradual basis till you really have to disclose the real truth when they can really handle mentally.
Yes. Yeah. And so all this, as we are saying, must be built on the foundation of friendship. Okay. Yeah. Try as much as possible. Let's try as much as possible to be friends to our teenage children, so that we don't get the shockers.
So then, teenagers, actually, I think this also comes to parents. Make sure you guide your teenagers on always to have, because I think dating, you can allow your teenagers to date so that they can have good friends. Yes. But then the parents, you have to guide your children to have friendly relationships than romantic relationships, right?
Yes,
isn't it?
Exactly.
And so, do you think it's also okay for parents to give their sons and daughters skills on dating or on how to relate? Okay. And how can they do that?
All right. Yeah, I'll just give a few tips that parents to teenagers can put into application so that they can walk the journey with them. I think the parents will have to give a little privacy to our children. Like you're a father and you have a teenage daughter, she is finished showering, she's in the room changing, then you just bump into the place and then you enter. Yeah, they will feel insecure because they have certain feelings.
Yeah, they are growing up.
So you keep some distance. Same applies to the mothers who are taking care or who are parents. Then also there has to be ongoing guidance. Offer ongoing guidance. It should not be a one-off. Yeah, let it be time to time.
Okay.
Create time. Talk about academics. Talk about general life. Talk about Christianity or whichever religion you are. Talk about godly stuff, but also talk about reality, about bodies, and then the different occurrences that happen to one's body as they grow up. But also, you need to establish safety rules.
Safety rules
for your teens.
I think having safety rules, that is really important.
Yes.
Like you have you give them expectations.
Exactly.
Yes, and then also limitations.
Exactly.
I think I think in there that is where we have that is where curfew comes in. That do's and don'ts. Yeah.
Don't move at night alone.
Yes.
You know.
What? Yes.
Then
This
also.
person, the other person, don't do.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
It's really
Don't
good.
be. Don't stay alone. A boy and a girl in dark corners. Anything can happen because you know when you put fire near plastic.
The situation.
And then it can happen. You know, it will melt, and then the repercussions will be very grave.
You lose if it's a cup. You lose the cup.
Yes, but also because this is a .com era, we have to make a deliberate effort to have control over social media. Talk with your children, your teens, which pages they open. What do they check out?
Okay.
You do it in a friendly way. You say, now when you have your phone, what do you check out? How do you do it? Or you lead them. Say, this is what you should do. This is what you should look out because it is beneficial to your academics, to your social life, to your Christian life. Yeah. And then also get to know anyone your teen wants to date. It's very important to make a deliberate effort to know whom they want to date.
So then you're directly involved.
Exactly, you are directly linked to them.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said earlier, you can drop them. You can trust the bigger ones. They will tell you where they are going, but learn their itinerary. Know what they are going to do. If there is any change in the program, let them make sure that you say you call me in case the program is changing. They may be going to a place, maybe they're having a party. Then if they are changing that now they are going to Angenois, discotheque, then that's a different item on the itinerary.
Okay.
Then you say, then you come in and say, let me come and pick you because you've had enough interaction. I think you can pick it up next time. You save them from going there because what will happen there is there will be an introduction of alcohol and stuff.
Yeah, I know, and a lot of things.
Messed up.
That's
very
true.
So you must learn the itinerary, and
So this is why I pose a question. There is a tendency of teenagers basically wanting to do whatever they are stopped from doing.
So that means they're always curious.
Yes. That happens if the communication is not done in love.
In a proper way.
In a proper way. If you are like saying, don't do that, and you don't explain why.
That is where the respect comes in.
Yes, they shouldn't. You should tell them not to do that, but take time to explain to them the repercussions, what might happen if they engage in that activity. Yeah. So when they know that daddy and mommy wish me good, and they're telling me this for my own good,
in a polite way,
then they will come back to you.
Okay.
But if you don't do it when you are still with them,
then
and they go to campus and they have their room,
trouble
at MOOBS or Makerere or Master, wherever, Gulu University or wherever it is, Chambogo, they will do whatever you stop them to do. They will experiment it there. Yeah. So we have to be careful. Let's do it in love.
Yes.
With the children.
Like I was saying, this kind of age group is like it's really intimidating. And then, as I was reading, I actually learned a new word. There is something we call infatuation and love. Those are two different things. So then, infatuation is when you feel the butterflies, you feel goosebumps, and then that happens like at school when a girl tells you something, you feel you feel you can't sleep, like you can't eat, you get those kind of things. And then that is what we call infatuation. But then love grows with time.
Yes.
And infatuation, that can happen instantly.
Anytime.
Like a girl tells you something with the teenage age, you are excited, or a boy tells you something,
Yes.
and then you feel, oh, you can't sleep. You're only thinking about them. So parents, make sure you tell your kids about this. Infatuation is different from love. Love doesn't happen there and then. Love grows, but infatuation happens there and then. And then I think then we should not discourage teenage dating, but we should discourage sexual attraction, right?
Exactly. It has to be, even the dating has to be guided, as we have said.
Yes.
But also, let's try to make sure that we are friends to the teens.
Okay.
For them to open up.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, as I said, they will source answers and responses on their own. And most times, those answers
That deadly.
are dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Nicholas, before I get back to Mr. Oliaula, what are your last words before we end?
Basically, my words are on dating. Dating in its own self is not a bad thing
Okay.
to everyone, but the thing is, what do you do in the dating? That is the biggest question. So everyone should be vigilant, mostly the teens. You should not do anything outside the guidelines, just as he has said. Everything should be under the guidance of someone bigger who has experience and knows whatever that you are going through. So we should always listen to the people who are talking to us about what we are going through.
People who have experienced that. All right. Thank you so much, Nicholas. And now we come back to Mr. Oliaula. What are your ending remarks?
My parting shot is parents, let's be friends to our children so that we can lay a good foundation for their future.
That's right.
And then let's listen to them. And let's not leave this topic of sex and dating to go to be swept under the carpet, because we don't want to regret tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's speak to them, let's be friends to them, and the rest, the Lord will take control and we shall be okay.
Amen.
Thank you.
And to all the parents out there watching, I hope you have heard, make sure you have a relationship with your children. Talk to them, tell them about these things, because like I said, you didn't want them to hear these things from someone else. Make sure you encourage them every time. I think that's what we ought to do.
Yes.
Yes. And to all the parents out there listening, again, make sure you don't discourage dating among teenagers, because they can date their friends, but make sure you are directly involved in that. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Growth Catalyst, and we were talking about sex and dating among teenagers. And so to watch whatever we have said, make sure you follow us on our social media platforms at The Move UG on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Till we meet again. See you. Bye.